What's going on, YTBC? Just sitting there thinking, and this week we lost three pretty much Hall of Fame boxers. All three retired. You have Marquez, Bradley, and Vladimir Klitschko. Um, kind of want to focus on Bradley and Vladimir Klitschko the most. Uh, Vladimir, one of the guys that dominated the heavyweight division for years. Was never my favorite fighter. Um, I didn't like the style, the grabbing, the whole pushing down of the head. But I mean, you can't overlook the dominance that he had for years. I mean, his resume is impeccable. Fought a lot of good fighters, and the fact that he fought Joshua uh, this late in his career shows a lot. Uh, and he looked good in that fight against Joshua. He was actually letting his hands go. In the Fury fight, it seemed like he couldn't pull the trigger, which kind of worried me going into the Joshua fight. Seeing that against Fury, he couldn't pull the trigger, but Fury did have a style that I guess made Vladimir kind of uneasy. Fury is kind of light on his feet, has good movement. And Vladimir, really couldn't pull the trigger in that fight. I'm glad he retired, but he had a great career, and no one can take that away from him. He fought everybody, everybody that was available in one fight. I wish him and Wilder could have fought. I know Wilder helped him out in a lot of training camps. I wish those two could have gotten on in the ring. I think that would have been a hell of a fight. But he ended up 64 wins, 5 losses, 0 draws, which, it's a hell of a record. Damn, that's almost 70-something fights. 69 fights. That's pretty impressive. So I just wanted to give Vladimir a shout out. Tell him, great career. And he did a lot for boxing. I appreciate that, The other guy I want to talk about was Tim Bradley. Tim Bradley, a guy that didn't do any one thing good, any one thing great, but he did a lot of things good. Bradley had a lot of heart. He made up, for not, being as talented as a lot of the guys he fought and beat, Lamont Peterson. I mean, I think he won the Diego Chavez fight, but, it ended up being a draw. I thought he lost the Pacquiao fight, but they gave him the decision. There's nothing I can say to argue that, Once you get the decision for the refs, I can think whatever I want, but at the end of the day, a win is a win. But Bradley had a lot of good fights, and he has a really good resume. He beat Devin Alexander, beat Lamont Peterson. He drew with Diego. The Provodnikov fight was the fight where I gained a lot of respect for Bradley. I thought he fought very reckless in that fight. His trainer was telling him that he needed to, he needed to fight more defensive. But Bradley just got caught up into the fight, and man, that was a complete slugfest. That was one of the best fights I saw that year. Just because of the fact that just two guys just slugging it out. That fight took a lot out of both of the fighters. It really took a lot out of Bradley because I think after that fight was when he was talking about his speech was slurred and things of that nature. So I'm sure that kind of scared him a little bit, and I think that took a little bit out of him. I don't think he was the same after that fight. He beat up Brandon Rios. Well, Brandon Rios was basically an overweight punching bag at that point. Beat Vargas. Bradley had a hell of a career, and I mean, all I can do is just big him up. You know, if you want to retire and retire with all your faculties, I can't blame you for that. You know, I can't blame for Floyd wanting to go out with all his faculties because some of these guys take beatings, and you know, with those beatings, you see guys with slurred speech, and you know, you see Roger Mayweather and you see Floyd Mayweather Sr. You know, it's a lot of guys that can hardly complete a sentence at this point in their lives. You know, from taking so many shots. And if you got enough money to retire and get out the game, you know, who's mad at that? No one can be mad at that. He's got a family. You know, he's got kids. We all want, if that was our father, we would all probably want him to get out of boxing too. If he wanted to and he's got all his faculties. So those two guys, I just want to give a big shout out to them. You know, both, all three Marquez too will be Hall of Famers. But I just want to do a video on that and give those guys a shout out. I wish Bradley would have been able to fight not just top ranked guys. I mean, he fought Lamont Peterson. I'm not sure at that point was Lamont Peterson with Heyman or who Lamont Peterson was with as far as management wise. But I would have liked to see Bradley mix it up with maybe a Broner or maybe a Danny Garcia or Keith Thurman and I'm speaking about early in his career, not at this point. I'm speaking of early in his career. Maybe before the Provodnikov fight or a little bit after that. After that fight, I would have liked to see him mix it up. I'm not sure why he never really got a shot to fight. I heard some rumors about his per fight pay was so much that Bob Arum, it was something like that. I can't remember, but I'm not sure why the reason. In the comment section, if anybody knows why Bradley, well, you did have the thing with Arum and Heyman going on at that point, but I still don't see why he didn't get to mix it up with some of those guys on the other side. I know we had the big feud with Heyman and Arum, and nobody was going to let that happen, so they weren't going to let their fighters fight each other. But after the lawsuit was settled, seems like now they're kind of down with letting guys mix it up. So just want to give a shout out to those three guys, man. I hope all of them have happy retirements, and they did a lot for the sport.